instructions of the court, so help you God. Please say I do. I do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, women of the jury. I want to thank you for coming here on this beautiful morning and for all the time and work that you spent in the school working on this case. But today, this is kickoff. Today we're here to talk about law and about evidence and about how this case will proceed. If you have not already figured it out, we're here to discuss and decide if Darrell Curtis is well fit for being the legal guardian of both Pony Boy and Soda Pop Curtis. We are here to decide two issues. The first of these is if Pony and Soda should stay with Derry or if they should go. And the second issue we need to discuss is what will happen to the boys if they are not fit to continue living under the same roof as Derry. Now, you just took an oath a few minutes ago that requires you to be truthful and choose fair to use the laws of the state of Oklahoma and the laws of our nation. But I want you to choose wisely, and I want you to make a decision that you are comfortable with and you can live with. Even though we are going to go through the evidence rather quickly, we highly value your time, and we want the trial to last only 90 minutes. Some trials last 2 weeks. We're not going to do that to you. So if I do my job and the defense counsel does their job, we'll have you out of here in 90 minutes. The evidence is going to pass in front of you very quickly. So I really ask that you take a lot of notes throughout the case so that you can make an accurate verdict at the end of this trial. It is going to be very important to the trial, which brings me to my next point. There are two main factors in the courtroom: law and evidence. Evidence is going to be everything that you see in front of you, ranging from pictures to the things the witnesses say while they're in the stand. Evidence is what you want to log in your notes. Then there are laws that the judge will tell you about, and you should try to log this in your notes as well. Since the beginning of the U.S., our founding fathers have wanted all trials to be fair and about key issues only. I want you to take your role as a member of the jury very seriously as we proceed through this case. A few weeks ago, a poor pony boy ran from his home in an attempt to find safety and reform after he had been so rudely hit by his older brother Darrell. He ran away to cool off when he ran into Johnny Cade. Later, Pony Boy Curtis took place in the murder of Bob Sheldon. They then did the irresponsible thing and ran away together to an abandoned church where they stayed for a few days with a loaded gun until they were forced to go back home due to starvation and injuries. A few weeks later, you will learn that Pony Boy Curtis and Darrell Curtis would exchange harsh words almost every night, while Soda Pop would have to sit in between this. Is this any way right for a family and teenagers to have to go through? Now, usually, if the caretaker is abusing a child, they are providing for it. They are sent straight to jail with their kids going to an orphanage, or in some states given the death penalty for abuse to children and teenagers. But I'm going to be fair with you. At the end of this case, I'm going to ask you for a verdict of sending Soda Pop and Pony Boy Curtis to a boys' home, which has many better features than an orphanage. Right now, I want you to form a picture in your head and hold on to that picture of the terrible treatment of these boys as the defense present their opening statements, evidence, and closing arguments. I already know the defense is going to tell you two things. First, that family is important, and second, that hard work should not be abandoned. As the defense is presenting this evidence, I want you to think about why they are introducing evidence that has nothing to do with this case. If you do start thinking that the Curtis family is a good family when they're together, then that means that you are being biased. We ask you to be critical of the evidence coming into this case and encourage you to keep your minds open as you listen to the evidence provided through this case. The neighbor that I mentioned earlier, Johnny Cade, just as many others will need. Johnny Cade went through some beatings, and he needed Pony Boy to be there for him, just as many others will need Pony Boy or Soda to be there as well. The defense is going to present evidence like this, and it is a play on your emotions. Don't let yourselves be manipulated by the evidence that comes in that has nothing to do with the issues in this case. Cases like these are not decided on sympathy or a lack of sympathy, but instead decided on hard evidence. The evidence is Ponyboy and Soda are being mistreated. The evidence is it is affecting their lives. And at the end of this case, they were going to have no problem realizing that most of the defense's case is a distraction and attempts to get you to side with them. We thank you very much for your time on this case, and we ask you to keep your thinking caps on and listen critically to everything that is presented to you throughout the course of this case. And to ask yourself, am I being handed hard, open-hand evidence, or being given evidence that is not legit? Thank you once again.
Thank you, Your Honor. Jury. Thank you, everyone, for coming and for all your time spent on this case. Today, we will be deciding whether or not Daryl Curtis is an acceptable guardian for his brothers, Ponyboy and Soda Pop. About 1 year ago, the Curtis brothers' parents were in a car crash where they passed away. Ever since then, Daryl has been working 2 jobs and has grown up much too quickly to try and take care of these boys. Now, the 3 brothers, Ponyboy, Soda Pop, and Daryl, are on the defense so that they can go home to their family. I'd like to take a quick moment to introduce my team as we are representing the boys. My name is Will Hope, and this is Carson. Yeah, I know that. If the prosecution wins, we will see that Ponyboy and Soda Pop will get sent to a boys' home, and Daryl will be left alone. If the defense wins, the boys will get to go home and will remain in Daryl's custody. Remember, jury, this decision is very important. So, in how you decide to change these boys' lives. If you feel the need, jury, please take notes so you can make the most accurate decision possible. Now, let's go back to the beginning. This all started 1 year ago. The boys' lives were as normal as anyone else's, until that fateful day when their parents' car struck another's. Quickly, Daryl realized he had to step up and take care of his brothers, missing out on his chances to go to college or to follow his dreams. And ever since that day, they have been doing their best and working as hard as they can against all odds to stay together. And now here we are, people in Coon Rapids, trying to pull them apart and destroy everything they've worked so hard to build. We ask that you keep an open mind during this trial, and you are very careful in making this decision. Thank you again for all your time spent and for working on this trial. Thank you.
Prosecution may call its first witness.
People call Daryl Curtis.